You're lost, the storm is closing and your shelter is all that stands between you and a disaster. But what if your tent betrays you most? Well, after testing tents in blizzards, desert storms and mud-soaked hellscapes, I found only 4 you can trust with your life. One costs less than a pizza, another can withstand forces that flip cars, but there's a sinister flaw in a bestseller that could leave you stranded. All the links to survive are waiting in the description. For the next 8 minutes, your camping future changes forever. Starting at number 1. The North Face Wawona. The floor fabric has become 1,500 millimeters, better than the 1,200 millimeters in the previous version. This addressed an issue we never experienced but saw happen to some everyday users. On one camping trip, Treeline founder Naomi Hudetz was able to fit a camping table, 4 camp chairs, and a bike-packing bike in the vestibule with room to spare. The tent has one door on the main body of the tent, and the vestibule has doors on both sides. On the rear of the tent body there is a large zippered window plus many other venting points that work well on hot days at camp. To top off the feature set, the Wawona is loaded with stash pockets in the interior of the tent. They're on the walls and ceiling with plenty of space to maximize storage and organization. It also has hooks along the top to hang a camping lantern or other items. The North Face's instructions on setting up are a bit less than helpful, but once you've figured it out, setting up is simple. The poles, sleeves, and grommets are all color-coded, which TNF did not mention in the instructions, so once you understand that, the setup is much less confusing. The tent stakes out well and has a sturdy structure, even for such a large and tall tent. On a camping trip in the notoriously windy Columbia River Gorge, the tent held up well against consistent big gusts. The tent has additional guy lines to further stake out the tent if needed. One downside to the tent's construction is the coverage of the rainfly, and this is a common complaint with many large car camping tents. The rainfly does not completely cover the body of the tent, leaving the potential for precipitation to get in. Specifically, the rainfly does not fully extend over the back of the tent. While we haven't had a chance yet to test this tent in heavy rain, this is the one area where we have reservations about its performance. Number 2. Eureka Copper Canyon LX. The Eureka Copper Canyon is an affordable, quality family camping tent for mild conditions. It's a great budget choice for summer camping in a warm part of the spring or fall. It's easy and intuitive to set up and has plenty of floor space. However, it lacks vestibules. The pros of the Copper Canyon LX are simple: it's massive, easy to set up, and affordable. But most importantly, it is about as close to an instant cabin tent with near vertical walls as we've seen. It sets up fairly quickly, around 10 minutes in our experience. In comparison, you can expect 15 to 20 minutes for other comparable tents. We had camping beginners set it up in the dark in the Eastern Sierra and they had no issues. Particularly impressive, Eureka has solved an age-old problem of tangled guy lines on the rainfly by building in a small pocket for each line so they don't get tangled during setup. We also love the Copper Canyon's gear storage pockets. They're higher up from the floor so they're accessible for cot users. There's even a hanging mesh storage pocket in the middle of the tent. Number 3. Alps Mountaineering Lynx. This 4-person tent is not only suited for both camping and backpacking tents, it is also one of the most affordable tents we looked at, period. It offers campers a generous amount of vestibule space. It's a time-tested tent that lasts for years. ASA brand, Alps Mountaineering has consistently produced affordable, reliable backpacking gear. Their tents have been a staple of some of my programs and stand up to the teenager test, rarely breaking despite repeated use by novice 13-year-olds. The Lynx is made in this tradition. As a backpacking tent, the Lynx is snugger than other family camping tents, but still large enough for a full-size foam mattress, pillow, and tote of clothes into it. Campers can store extra gear in the vestibule space. It's not as light as other backpacking tents, but it's light enough to carry, especially when split between 4 people. This balance is what makes the Lynx a great deal. There aren't any major cons other than weight, and it's still the lightest camping tent we considered. Affordable, easy to set up, and capable of handling the weather or trails, the Lynx is a great option for a small family that wants to keep the door open to camping further from the car than the Copper Canyon allows. Number 4. Coleman Sundome. Season Mountaineering Tent. After decades of summer road trips and weekends in the woods, Coleman has proven its place on this list. Although there are several models of Coleman tents, the Sundome is the best Coleman tent we've found. The Sundome's greatest perk is its price. However, before you jump at the price, be very thoughtful about the kind of camping you'll be doing and the Sundome's limitations. The 3-person version is barely 5 foot at the top, which makes it hard for most people to stand up. And with only one door, getting in and out will likely involve climbing over others. The Sundome has modestly sized gear storage pockets halfway up, and they don't store much. It has enough vestibule space to store shoes, but not much else. Perhaps the Sundome's biggest flaw is its lack of weather protection. The rainfly barely covers the tent. And while it has a bathtub floor, we've had the experience of waking up to a wet sleeping bag in the Sundome. We used the Sundome at an outdoor educational program that I ran. Most of the Sundomes broke after a few uses. After that, the Sundome became our standard beach and backyard tent. We never took them on the road for camping trips away from more robust facilities. Still, the price is good and the Sundome does work. It just works best on sunny days, warm nights, and barely any wind or rain. For a cheap backyard outing to get your kids used to tents, it's hard to beat. For an extended camping trip in anything but certain bluebird conditions, we'd recommend any of the other tents in this story over the Sundome. So the choice is yours. Will you trust your next adventure to gear that's been proven or gamble on the unknown? Remember, your tent isn't just gear, it's your lifeline. If this guide saved you from a costly mistake, do me a huge favor, smash that like button. Know someone planning a trip, share this with them. It might be the most important video they watch this year. For more brutal real-world tests and survival secrets, subscribe and hit the bell. Because next week we're exposing the sleeping bag industry's dirty secret. Until then, stay safe and explore smarter.